Today is August the 5th, 2016. My name is Tanya Fincham. I'm with Oklahoma State University, and today I am in Vinita, Oklahoma to speak with Warren Fetter, and this is part of our Glass House Restaurant project, so thank you for coming today.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
Let's begin with learning when and where you were born.
Well, it's years ago. Hate to give the date. Born in Kansas City, 1943.
Okay. And then how did you end up in Oklahoma?
My dad was a farmhand, and he had relatives in Anderson, Missouri, so we moved there first. And then we got a job with a rancher in Vinita when I was like 6 years old, so we moved to Vinita. But all his relatives were in Anderson, Missouri.
You were saying your father was a farmhand and that brought you to Vinita?
Yes.
And then we were interrupted, so we'll pick it up from there.
Well, he died when I was about 12 years old, so Mom and my other brother moved to Vinita, and she was in restaurant work, all of her life.
Okay. So you would have gone to grades, 1 through 6, maybe in Kansas, before you moved here?
I think through the second grade in Missouri, and then went to country school in east of town. It's just half a mile from where we lived, and we was the last graduating 8th grade class there. There was 3 of us in our class.
That's kind of small.
Yes.
And that was in Vinita then?
Yeah.
So I
in
got
Craig
my time.
County, it was east of town, 7 miles.
Got my time on off. Okay.
And then went to high school in Vinita.
Then graduated what year?
62.
62. Right before Vietnam War started kicking in.
Yes.
What was your favorite subject in high school?
Well, history mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you involved with FFA or 4-H or?
No, I started working at the Glass House when I was 16. My brother, we always had a job to kind of help Mom and everything.
Well, then I need to back up. How many siblings did you have?
Just one brother.
Just one. And were you older or
No,
younger?
he was older.
He was older.
Yes.
Okay. So you began work early.
Yes.
But prior to that, were you still living on a farm?
No, we moved to Vinita after Dad died.
After him? Into town itself?
Yes.
And your mother started working?
Yes.
At that point? Okay, I'm caught up.
Okay.
Took me a little while there. Well, in high school, besides working, would you have something you'd do for fun?
Just run around, drive the streets. But usually had to work after school. We was in DECA program.
DECA, okay. I haven't heard that term in a long time.
Yeah, they don't use that term anymore. So, we're kind of involved in that, but, when you get out of school and you go at 8 or 9 at night and do a little studying.
A little?
Yes.
Well, then on weekends, would you get to?
Work weekends also.
You worked weekends
Yeah.
too? So no softball or
No.
going swimming or fishing or?
No, I used to fish though, when Dad was little and everything, but I just wasn't really interested in fishing or hunting.
Well, why did they pick Vinita to move here when?
Well, that's when the gentleman that my dad was working for come to Anderson looking to hire someone,
Okay.
for a farmhand, because they furnished a house and everything,
So he came for work then?
Yes.
It wasn't relatives already here? or
No,
anything?
there was no relatives here at all. So all Mom's relatives lived in Kansas City, and that's where Dad met Mom. And all Dad's relatives lived in Anderson, Missouri.
About how far would they have to travel to go see people then from Vinita, like those two places from here,
Oh, about a 2-hour drive.
for both of them?
Well, no, Anderson's only like 45 minutes. Kansas City's like 2 hours, 2.5.
Huh. too bad.
No,
And you chose to stay in Vinita
sure,
and consider this home?
yes.
Yes.
You really do.
Well, has Vinita changed much since your youth till today?
Oh, yeah, all the fast food restaurants, Walmarts. And this center here, you know, they redone it. I remember when it's just an old house,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah. Well, in '61, the glass house had already been open just a few years.
It,
Right.
it opened in, I think, 58, I believe. The road was built in 57. It got opened in like 58 or late 57.
And you were living here and old enough to know that that was going on.
Yeah,
Yeah. Do you remember much about those years?
not really.
How the town reacted to the glass house or the turnpike, either one?
Well, some of the businesses didn't want the turnpike going through because they thought it would take business away from them.
Mhm.
But you probably heard that before.
Uh-huh.
And it's not just this town, it's all of them along the turnpike system.
Sure. And did that come to, but could you tell that if it did or not, just living here? Not
It
really?
depends on what business owner you talk to. It did for some and some it didn't. And I'm not gonna say anything about it.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Well, building the restaurant, did the people have any opposition to the glass house being built?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Yes. You know, I
You were
wasn't
younger.
old enough to,
Be aware.
yeah. I'm sure there's probably some that did.
Well, did your mother work at the glass house?
No.
Any?
She worked local restaurants here in Vinita.
Okay. Well, how did you come to get a job at the glass house?
Well, I got acquainted with Annabell Southern, which was the original second manager out there. And I don't know, I just went and applied for a job when I was 16, you know, because we'd always worked on the farm anyway, you know, before you old enough to get a job where, you know, we always hauled hay in the summer and everything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Even after Dad passed away, I'd go to the country and work, you know. But then when you're 16, you know, you could get it's legal to work.
And drive a car to get there, I guess.
Yeah, and pay taxes.
Well, how did you get acquainted with Annabelle? I mean, did you know her from church or from town?
No, I just, you know, went out and applied and we got to know everything. And she's like my second mother to me after my mom died, you know. And she helped a lot of young people, you know. She was involved in the community real, you know, a lot.
She was married?
She wasn't married at the time. Her first husband was killed in World War II. Then her second husband died of a heart attack. So she had already been single as long as I knew her.
And no children?
No.
She took on the town's children then?
Yes, she did.
It's hers.
You know, and she hired a lot of young people out there, of course. And some of in the winter, it was business slow. You'd have 40, 50 employees. But in the summer, she'd be about 120.
Wow. That's a lot to keep up with and
Yeah.
keep them in line and all that too.
Well, she done a good job of it.
I was trying to get some idea of how old she was. If her husband was World War II, then she was probably
She was,
born in the 20s, maybe?
she's born in 1923.
Oh, the 20s, okay. And then when did
22. She's born in 22.
And when did she pass away?
She passed away the day before her 83rd birthday.
Oh, she had a pretty good long life then.
She had a real long life.
Yeah. And did she work right up until 65, or did she stay longer?
No, she's at the glass house till host sold them to Howard Johnson's, and she stayed with Howard Johnson's for till 1985. And then she left there and she went to the library as the head librarian.
Really?
Yes.
Here in Vinita?
Yes.
Well, I'll have to check into that too,
Yeah,
be a
I mean,
librarian.
Yes, she was there at the library.
She got tired of the business of the restaurant business and wanted to change? Or?
Well, she wouldn't leave Vinita,
Okay.
but you know, she's old. She was retired anyway, you know, so.
She just couldn't stay home. She needed something to
Oh,
keep her busy.
she's active all the time. You know, she could, you know, community affairs.
Okay. So she was there the entire time you were there?
Yes,
Okay. And you would have started there in
I started in 1960.
1960 as 16 or
Yeah,
as a
that was-
teenager. And then did you retire from there?
No, I worked host for 15 years at various jobs and everything. And then I was in Indiana as commissary manager up there in 75. And because in 75, Host sold all the restaurants to Howard Johnson Company in Oklahoma.
Okay.
So I transferred to Indiana. And then we sold those restaurants up there on the Turnpike system to another restaurant company. And I came back home in 76. And then I didn't do anything for a couple of years. And then I went back to work for Annabelle as assistant manager at Howard Johnson's.
Okay.
And worked there in 1985. And that's when we left there.
Is that when McDonald's came in?
No, McDonald's was already there.
Okay. I couldn't figure
No,
out
yeah.
when it came.
No, when we left, McDonald's wasn't there. They come later.
Okay. Sometime in
We
the
left
80s.
in 85, and I can't remember when they came.
Okay.
And then I went back to work at the Glass House for Paul and Jimmy Jones, which they had been on the gift shop out there. You know, private gift shop in the McDonald's location, and I went to work for them as manager. And then they sold that to a man in Tulsa, and I stayed with him in the gift shop business till McDonald's didn't renew our contract. So then I retired.
So basically, you spent a lot of time in that building.
Yes.
In various phases.
Yeah, I saw a lot of changes.
Yes. Well, what was it like when you first started there? Describe it to me.
Oh, it was a fancy restaurant, sit-down restaurant in the dining room. You saw the menu for the roller room. They had a grill out front where they cooked the lobster and the steaks and everything in the dining room. There was an open fire in it.
A little fancy.
And they had a cafeteria line, you know, that served, you know, it's like all cafeterias, various foods. Then at night they had a 16-seat snack bar that was always open at night because there was no business at all at night, hardly out there.
Not truck drivers coming through?
Not very many. I mean, it wasn't like the other turnpikes in Oklahoma. Their business was always constant, years around. Out here, for some reason, it was slow in the winter, then in the summer months it would really peak high. June, July, and August, you know.
That's good when high school students needed work, I
Yes,
guess.
yes.
That worked out pretty
Yes.
well.
Yeah, it really did.
I guess maybe being in the area where Grand Lake is has something to do with
Yeah,
that.
it had a lot to do with it. You know, people coming through and they would stop there. And then, of course, with the national news, you know, when they was written up in Time magazine and everything. And I think there was a copy of that in one of those scrapbooks. You know, showed it lit up at night, and they got quite a few write-ups and people come through to see it. So,
A lot of travelers.
well, they want to sit by the window and look out the window.
And watch the cars go
Yes.
by. And someone said it had escalators.
Yes, you know, that's the only part of the country that had escalators back then.
People wanted to go up and down,
Oh,
a
yes.
bit. Any accidents?
Oh, yes.
Really?
Kids would sit on those seats, and I don't know, those seats kind of had combs on them where, you wouldn't slip, then when you got to the top, it'd scratch your bottoms a lot. And they like to slide down the the up one is here and the down one is here, and you could slide down between them. They'd do that just for fun. Finally, we put metal blocks on there where they couldn't slide down.
Well, they got them out of the car and entertained for a little while, I guess.
They were well entertained.
Well, if the restaurant was that fancy, were the bathrooms
Yeah,
upscale like that too?
Yeah, they were nice bathrooms, yes. And there was no charge. But some bathrooms on toll roads, you'd have to pay a dime to get in. Like in Indiana, you had to pay a dime. They had a nickel lock on them. You put a dime in there to open it.
Well, and I noticed this one has parking places going both directions.
Yes.
That was probably unusual for the time too, when it was first built.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
And a lot of business during the summer months, you said.
Yes. Yeah.
Buses, tour buses and
Yeah, we had
such.
quite a few buses. In fact, we had a sign in Tulsa that said buses welcome. One of those big billboard signs.
Oh, big one, advertising,
Yes.
upcoming, yeah. So what was your first job there?
I was in the dish room washing dishes.
And where was the dish room?
It was downstairs.
And the cafeterias are
All the restaurants on the top.
up. Well, the logistics of that.
Okay, they had a conveyor belt system, and they had our serving trays are about this wide, about this long, and that's what the waitress used to carry the dishes out, and also on the cafeteria line, that's what people got. And there's a conveyor system that went downstairs. It had arms on it like this, and those trays would fit in there, and they'd go down. It's about this far apart, and you could turn it on and off. And then when they hit, there's a conveyor belt down at the bottom that would bring those dishes. There's one for the cafeteria side and one for the dining room side. And the conveyor belt would bring those trays around to where the dishwashers were. There was one for the dining room, and there's two places where you could rinse off the dishes. And the garbage disposals where you put them in the dish machine. But they come downstairs like that. Then there was small elevators. We had carts we put the clean dishes on. And those elevators were about this wide, about this deep. And you'd slide those dish carts on there and take the dishes upstairs. And the people would unload them and put the dishes upstairs.
Well, how would you separate the silverware as it was coming through then?
Well, you take the silverware off the tray.
Before it's put on when it comes?
Yes,
first?
see, they'd put all the dirty dishes and silverware on. Well, they had a silverware deal that had 4 compartments in it. And they would put, most of the time they sorted upstairs and put
Before it came down, okay.
And then you take it all out of there, and you had all plastic containers about this big around, about that tall, had holes in them. You can put that silverware in there, rinse it off good with the hot water and everything, then put all that in the dish machine, in a row. And the dish machine had a conveyor belt with fingers on it where you could put the dishes in, and it'd go all the way through. Those dishes would run all the way through, and it had an automatic stop up. The first dish would hit that lever, and it would stop the dish machine. You could unload those dishes and push that lever back down, and the dishes would keep coming through.
So you had to pay attention.
Well, yeah, it would stop automatically by itself. When the first dish hit the front, it'd turn it off,
Did very many broken ones come through?
No, not really.
Not really.
Except when some employees would throw them in the garbage disposals for fun.
I wonder why would that be fun?
Some of those kids thought it was fun, grind up a dish.
It just sounds different, I
Well,
guess.
well, the garbage disposal were king size. I mean, they were home size.
Yeah. It didn't damage the blades?
No, the
No?
blades were,
Industrial strength,
Yes.
huh?
they could shred it. You know, dishes are easy to break.
I imagine that the garbage going out would be quite a large amount.
There was a lot. In fact, we had an incinerator, which nowadays you could not have an incinerator, you know.
You actually used it.
Oh yeah, we used it. You know, the turnpike let us put it in. And yeah, you know, you had a lot of boxes and stuff, you know, mostly you burnt boxes and everything.
That was before styrofoam was popular.
Yes. You know, it was all paper cups then.
I would imagine. I don't know when styrofoam came in, but that was not a good.
No, it wasn't a good thing. And, well, a lot of the garbage, we had a man that raised hogs, and he would take the garbage home and boil it, which, you know, he could, and feed to his hog.
What, you didn't scrape down the disposal? You did that?
Yeah.
So upstairs, before it came down, they would have,
No,
someone on your end would do.
yeah, we'd scrape it down there. You know, and we had garbage cans by the disposals, you know, we'd scrape the stuff in there before you rinse the dishes off to run them in. So there wasn't a whole lot going through the disposal system, you know.
Well, I mean, that concept would be environmentally sound today. You're recycling
Yeah,
that other things, sure.
yeah, no, he would take all the scraps and everything and boil them, feed them to his hogs, you know, so.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
And he done that for years.
Well, how many would be helping you when you were in the dish room? How many would be on
There was
one time?
usually two,
Okay.
one on each side of the dish machine, you know.
And then from that job, just take me through.
Okay, then I was done that for about a year. Then I went to the bakery and learned how to make pies and all pastries and everything like that. You know, we done all of our own rolls, cakes, pies, all desserts that were homemade.
And you could do it today if you had to.
Sure, still do it.
You'll have to share some of your recipes. Someone said their sweet rolls were what people really liked.
Oh yeah,
Did they?
they were good.
And you can make those?
I haven't made them in a long time because, you know, I had to cut the recipe back to a little pan, you know,
Sure.
we make 80-pound batch of sweet dough every day.
And would sell out by,
That's one day's supply.
well, that's a lot. I think it would be a lot.
It was a lot.
And you made pie crust?
Yes, made our own pie crust. Cooked our own, well, we got the fruit in frozen, and but we cooked it, you know.
So which job did you like better at that point? The bakery or the dish room?
Oh, the bakery, because, you know, you get those hot rolls coming out of the oven and put some butter on them.
Help yourself, huh?
And a sweet roll for breakfast.
Oh, it smells probably much better than the other room
it
too.
was, yeah.
Well, how many would be in there at one time?
There was two of us all the time. Winter time, just one. Sometimes two on weekends.
So about how many pies a day would you put together?
Well, we make them up ahead of time, and we'd always cook 12 pecan pies. That's what the oven would hold. And we didn't make that up ahead of time. We done those fresh. But we'd keep our cooked fruits in a walk-in box, and we'd make start off with 16 of each pie, cherry and apple. plus each tray would hold 4, you could cook them. But we had extra ones made, so, you know, if they run kind of got low in the afternoon, you put more in the oven and cook them for an hour and they'd be ready to go. And if no one was there, like when he's off, you know, already going home, Annabelle or someone would come down, you know, turn the oven on and stick some more in, so.
It wasn't have them all done and once you're out, you're out. You're
No,
done for the day.
no, we weren't out.
What was your favorite of the pies?
I kind of like the pecan. I mean, they were all good, but you know. Then we had that Mile High lemon pie.
Someone else mentioned that.
Yeah.
Tart, or was it, since it was lemon, I would think it would be a little tart.
Well, kind of tart. It's not real tart because you know you still had sugar in it and everything. But
Well, what made it a mile high?
you whip those egg whites.
Okay.
And you put all that filling in it, and you put it in the pie shell with your hand and round it up. I mean, you could pile it up pretty high. So people like to order that.
It looked
sky
pretty.
high, yeah, sky high lemon pie, you know.
And would you get to take some of that home with you at the end of the day?
No. You didn't want to start that taking stuff home. That would get you fired right quick.
So how early would you have to be there for the bakery?
We went to work at 6 o'clock.
Okay. And then did an 8-hour shift, or?
Yeah.
And then went home. What was your pay, do you remember?
63 cents an hour. Started in the dish room, and I think got a 10-cent raise when I went to the bakery.
That's considered a lot, I guess, at that point.
Oh yeah, to get you a car and the insurance, and of course car insurance was cheap. I guess it's cheap back then according to our standards now.
And have some for gas.
Oh yeah, plenty for gas. $2 more to run a tank over. Gas 16 cents a gallon.
And would you do a 40-hour a week?
Yeah.
In
Yes.
summertime at least.
Yeah.
But when school was when you were in high school,
Well, we got out early if he's in DECA. I think we got out like at 2 o'clock, then, you know, probably worked 2 to 8 or something like that.
every day, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
So you
Or 6 days sometime.
were pushing 40 hours a week then too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 32, you know, something like that.
Mhm. What was your uniform like in the bakery?
White pants, white shirt, and that was standard uniforms. It didn't matter where you worked, except, you know, and the waitress wore different uniforms, you know. And they were furnished by a linen company out of Tulsa, you know.
So the dishwashers wore white and white too?
Yeah, and you wore a paper cap with, you know, like Tommy Clatton used to wear around all the time.
Huh. And you didn't have to laundry them yourself then?
No, they were furnished.
Well, that helped a young boy. He didn't have to worry about getting
Yeah.
mom to do his laundry.
Well, you know, everything come in clean, ready to go.
And you'd have to have a clean one every day, I would imagine.
Most of the time, yes.
Mhm. So how long were you in the bakery?
About 2 years.
Okay. And then,
Then I went to Indiana for a management training program. I was up there for over a year. And then I came back and I was assistant manager. When was that? It's about 67 to 68, I was assistant manager.
working closer with Annabelle at that
Yeah,
point,
yes.
getting to boss a few people.
Well, she took care of that mostly. She loved talking to people and everything. I liked working in the back of the house, you know, and kind of directing the traffic back there in the gift shops, you know. I love that.
Would you have to do the ordering for
Oh, yeah.
things?
Yeah, I've done all the ordering and inventories.
Hmm.
Because she didn't like that. And I do the payrolls and done all the work.
She liked the people contact.
Oh, yes.
She did.
Yeah, she just loved doing that.
And was still host at that point.
Yes.
Still a host. So once you became assistant manager, you knew how the whole thing worked, I'm sure, by then, even before then.
Oh, yeah.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
And did you work your way up? Well, she was. Were you ever just straight manager then instead of assistant there?
No, not there.
Not there. Not at the glass house.
No. Then, let's see.
Well, as an assistant manager, did you have to wear a uniform then?
No, you wore, coat and tie.
Oh, okay. And then probably a name tag?
Sometimes.
Well, if a customer was upset, would they see you or would they see her?
Either one, whoever was there.
Probably didn't happen very often.
Not too often. I remember one time some customer in the dining room was really upset with something, and I think he was going to strike Annabelle or something, and so she goes in the kitchen, and we had a man called Lane Williams. He was a nice black fella, and he was big and strong. And she said, "I want you to come out here and stand with me." And he just went out there and folded his arms and stood by Annabelle while she talked to this guy in the booth. I think he calmed him down.
Calmed him down real quick,
Yes.
huh?
I mean, she wasn't shy about doing stuff like that, you know. But mostly, you got very few complaints.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you had training to be management, had she had that similar training?
Well, yes, she had, the lady that first came here, Eleanor Kello, she'd worked for Host for a few years, and she opened the restaurant to start with, and Annabelle was assistant manager to her.
Okay. So she learned. Yeah, okay.
Yes, she
On
learned.
the job almost.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
But she'd been the home demonstration aide for public service and everything,
Okay, that's interesting too.
you know.
She was ready and up for it.
Yes.
Yes. Well, while you were working there, did you remember any famous people coming through?
Yeah, Tex Ritter came through, and Gene Autry, Barry Switzer. I guess he's famous.
Yeah, famous for Oklahoma, yeah.
You know, and I think in the scrapbooks there's even some signed postcards of some of them
Okay.
that, they'd signed. But, you get one every once in a while.
Any politicians?
Not that I remember. I'm sure there were.
The governor didn't come by any particular time?
Well, I think he probably did.
Probably not as big as a fuss over him as there would be a movie star or whatever. Were you there? No, you would have been when they did the 10th anniversary, like in 67, 68.
Yeah.
You were there for that.
Yes.
And for the 25th?
Yes.
Or we were there for that too. So as an assistant manager, did you have to fire anyone?
Not at this location. Usually they would quit on their own. A lot of them didn't, they wanted to work there, but then they got, a lot of those young people didn't like that kind of job, which was okay, they found something they wanted to do, If you don't like that kind of work, you know, you shouldn't stay.
Well, in the gift shop part, was there a popular item? One of the more popular items?
No, the souvenirs were real popular, postcards, you know. And, you know, we just had a variety of merchandise. Jewelry was good, Indian jewelry was good.
Authentic Indian?
Oh, yes.
Was it?
Yes.
Nowadays you can't tell.
Oh, yeah, if you know what you look for, you can tell.
You can't?
Yes.
Okay. I can't tell. Someone mentioned lollipops.
Oh, yeah, we had lollipop trees that had, started like 2 or 3 ounce lollipops and then go to 6 pounds. And on top was a 16-pound lollipop, which was about this big around, had a stick handle on it about this big around, set on top. And you'd sell, we probably sold 30 or 40 of those a year of that size.
Oh, the big one.
Yes.
Wow.
You know, people just, wow, I need one of those. And, you know, they never open it. But, and, you know, they went up to about this big, you know, and you put them on that tree just like a Christmas tree, you know, bigger at the bottom and little ones coming out the top, you know, there's various sizes.
And they sold well.
Oh, yes.
Mostly for adults or kids?
Both.
Both.
Yeah. Yeah, but it had a rack went on, it had a motor in there, turn that lollipop tree, you'd roll that out in the hallway every day, you know, because you'd lock it up at night in the gift shop. And that'd go around and around, you know.
It's a sight to see too, wasn't
Oh,
it?
yes, that's nice. I forgot about that till you mentioned it.
Well, at holiday time like Christmas and Thanksgiving, did they do any decorations or special things in the building there?
Yeah, well, we decorated. Sonny Mayberry done most of the decorations. You know, he liked to do that stuff. Get decorated and everything. We had a lot of Christmas parties, you know, everything. We had 2 party rooms, so.
Oh, so you got to see a lot of people come in and through those times.
Yes, sure did.
And then would they have a party for the staff?
Yes, we done a party every year. Christmas time, you know, it's not, you know, for the kids and everything, and the employees would draw names, you know, and we'd like get stuff for the kids, you know. Then we'd have a summertime party at the lake, you know, rent a ski boat or something, or, you know, cook out at the lake, or in the parks, or on a river.
And those who didn't get to go, that they had to work.
Well, we kind of fixed it where they could come in the morning, and then in the afternoon could come.
Okay, you were there all day then?
Yes.
Okay.
You know. Yeah, well, it wasn't just for a certain amount of time, you know, like we'd start in the morning and we wouldn't get it over to midnight or something, you know. So everyone got to come.
Did it kind of seem like a family affair
Oh,
then?
yes, and everything, you know, everyone liked each other pretty good.
Okay.
You know, just a good lake party. You know, no, we didn't serve liquor or anything like that. It was just cookout and soft drinks. And I'm sure some of them probably had some beer around the corner or something.
Probably. And Annabelle was all for that.
Oh, yes, she liked that. She loved doing stuff like that.
Would you all do something special for her, like for her birthday, that type of thing?
Oh, yeah, we'd always get her something, you know, but she, no, don't do anything, you know. So you always had to sneak up and surprise her, you know, something like that.
Anyone on staff that's a practical joker?
Oh, probably 3 or 4 that liked it, you know, but she didn't put up with that too much, you know.
Were you there when she retired from being the manager?
Yes.
Do you remember that day?
Now, we had well, when she left, I left at the same time.
So they had a double party.
Yes. that's when we was working for Howard Johnson's. It was in '85, you know. We both left at the same time.
Well, how did that come about when they switched from Host to Howard Johnson's?
Well, when we switched from Host to Howard Johnson, part of the agreement was they would retain all the employees. And Annabelle was the manager then, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, I was doing another job. I was inventory controller for all the restaurants in Oklahoma we had. And I was living in Henrietta, Oklahoma. And so I transferred to Indiana after we closed all these restaurants here, you know.
Still with Host?
Yes, I was still with Host.
Had they just lost the contract, or was there?
They wanted to get out of the turnpike business.
Okay.
Because they were in other areas, it was more profitable.
Okay, that makes sense. I didn't know why they had switched from
Yes,
how Howard Johnson came to have it.
yes.
And they had the best offer to, and it pleased the Oklahoma Turnpike, I guess, to put Howard Johnson's in there.
Well, you know, they were on some other on the turnpike, they had locations there.
Okay.
Stuckey's and Howard Johnson's. And there used to be a Howard Johnson's right as you come on the Tulsa entrance to the turnpike, or a little restaurant off the right.
Okay.
But Host had the one in Vinita and the one in Miami, the little restaurant. But it was on this side, you know, going on, you know, where, and Howard Johnson's was the first one on the turnpike, so they had that one.
Well, what was the one in Miami called?
Glass House also.
Was it? I didn't know that. Okay.
Well, the building this building wasn't called Glass House because of the glass windows. Host had other places like I think in Louisville or somewhere, they're called glass houses, and there are restaurants in town.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that either. Okay.
No one knows that.
No. I just figured it was because of the big glass windows.
Well, that's what become, you know.
Yeah. Well, of the Host restaurants, was it the only one that was shaped like this one?
Yes.
Was it?
Well, it's the only one that ever shaped like that anywhere on the turnpike.
Okay. Well, did the one in Miami function similar to this?
No, it was just on, you could only get to it from one lane,
Okay.
but it was still the same food and everything.
And they did all their cooking and all that there?
We sent, like the baked goods and everything, we'd send those up every day, and we had a station line, we'd take food up there then. They didn't have a bakery and everything, but you know.
So you had to be good at inventory for that too?
Oh, yes,
Make sure you got,
yes.
well, what if they ran out there and halfway during the day and wanted
Yeah,
more?
we usually stopped them where they didn't run out.
Okay. And was the station wagon air conditioned in those
Oh, yes,
days?
yeah. You had food carriers, you could put them in, you know.
Okay. Well, you just, when they made the transition from Host to Howard Johnson's, the reason you left is you wanted to stay with Host, not that you didn't want to work for Howard Johnson's.
Well, yeah, it's because I was already had been transferred to Henrietta, and I wasn't offered a job with Howard Johnson's. I didn't even ask.
Okay.
And yeah, I wanted to stay with Host.
Mhm.
So I went to Indiana, and I was commissary manager up there. We had 16 restaurants on Indiana total. And in commissary, we prepared all the food. You cut up all the meat, made food for all 16 restaurants.
Wow.
And they had 2 semis that delivered.
That takes a lot of managing.
Yes.
Wow.
I think there was 16, there was 4. I think there's 10 full seat restaurants and 6 snack bars.
That's a lot of food coming through.
Yeah. Because, you know, the restaurants on both sides of the road, there was no restaurant in the middle where they could drive into it, you know. back then, you know, it was all on the side, you know.
And it depended on the flow of traffic, business.
Well, we was in South Bend, Indiana, and we had two of our restaurants I live in Elkhart. And South Bend is where the Irish are, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So football days, you had a lot of business.
I can see that.
Yes. Notre Dame, you know, university there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you had flags planted up, you know, said Notre Dame, you know, the banners, go Notre Dame and everything. You know, and all the restaurants had gift shops in them, so.
Inventory was important then. You had to be
Yes.
big. Was it stressful or not so much?
Oh, no, I enjoyed it. I could inventory anything and have.
Good with numbers then,
Yes.
are you?
Yeah, I used to be able to do stuff in my head, like we'd just be sitting in a meeting and everything out, and you know, this was, well, you know, just tell within, you know, a couple of cents or something like that, you know, what something would cost, you know, just stuff I liked.
You would have been good on The Price is Right.
Yeah.
On that game show. Well, you didn't like Indiana well enough to stay there?
Well, we sold the restaurants there to another company. And it wasn't Howard Johnson, I can't remember the other company. We sold those, and I had a chance to go to San Francisco as office manager out there, and you know, being the same thing, only manage their office and doing the inventory stuff. But I didn't want to go that far.
Mother was still alive at that point.
Yes.
Yeah. California's a long way away.
Yeah. You know, a lot of kids I knew when they got out of high school, that's where they were going to go, to California. You know, I had no interest in running to California, see what was out there.
Well, did you marry along the way?
Nope, I've been single all my life.
And it's been a good one.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Been real good.
So from Indiana, you came back to Oklahoma City? No?
No, to Vinita.
You came back to...
Well, the Oklahoma City part is, we had a gift shop at the Cowboy Hall of Fame, most
Okay.
did,
Okay.
and a little restaurant there.
And you had to go, did you work that some?
Yeah, we'd work I've done inventories down there and everything.
A lot of money on paper. You saw go back and forth, I guess.
Yeah. And when they used to have the national finals down there, we'd go to the dinners and everything.
And you learned how to do all of that without a business degree.
Yeah, well, I went to NEO for 2 years.
Okay. In the mix somewhere.
Yeah.
Right after high school or later?
No later on.
Later.
And I lived in Miami there, not on campus, off campus with me and another fellow, with a lady. She furnished his room and cooked homemade meals for us for like $15 a week a piece. And then I drive back home at night, 3 or 4 nights a week to work at the glass house, in the bakery. So, it's been good.
Well, at the glass house, I would imagine you saw all kinds of cars come through.
Yes.
Well, but you might not, in the bakery you wouldn't have been watching that, but as the assistant manager, you might have seen, were there any unusual ones that come to mind?
No, you saw about all types of them and everything.
Good shape, bad shape, all of it, huh?
Well, one man overhauled his car right out in front of the glass house one day. Back then they could work on them themselves, I can't remember what it was, 56 Ford or something. He had the motor all tore apart, cylinders laying on the ground on pavement. Overhauled it. and one car come through the double doors where you walk into the lobby, just drove through them.
But on purpose?
No, their brakes failed.
Oh.
Because you could park right there in front, you know. Jump the curb and crash the doors.
Anyone get hurt?
No.
No. And then the so many glass windows, would it get really hot in there when the sun was beaming in?
Yeah, it did but they had louvers put on that would shut with you set them on a timer and on one side of the building, you know. What side was that on the south? I guess on the south side. And they move and shut. It's all the way from the top to the bottom, you know. And then in the evening they start opening up, you know, where you can see out.
And it did automatically, no one had to do that, it just
No.
automated?
Yeah, it's on timers where it automatically done
That would be neat to watch.
that. Yeah, well, it was a slow process, you know, as the sun kept getting brighter, it just, you know,
I bet most people wanted to sit by the windows.
yeah, but
They did it.
that's all they wanted was the windows, both sides of the building.
Well, how would they clean them? On the outside, or did they?
Yeah, we had a window washing company out of Tulsa come down and do them.
How often?
Oh, every couple of months.
Oh,
Or 3 months.
pretty often.
Yeah, pretty often.
For that main reason, because people were going to be looking at them?
Well, those windows just get dirty and inside too, you know. They can do the inside also. And we could do the first panes, which is like 10 feet high, you know, where people put their hands on the glass and everything looking at.
Yeah.
But the ones on higher, you know, we couldn't.
Yeah.
So they'd have to, you know, they done all those wash all the chrome and everything around the windows.
Be a good spot for a Windex commercial, huh?
Oh, yeah.
It's just a lot of things to come together for it to work efficiently, it sounds like.
Oh, yeah, well, you know, everything's gotta go right.
Got it to be a fine oiled machine.
Yep. Sometimes it was. Sometimes it wasn't. Birds would fly in the building sometimes.
Hit the glass and fall, or just come inside?
Well, they'd come in when people's opening doors or something, you know, and they'd be flying around up there.
Well, what would you do?
Try to get them. Usually some of those kids would tie up a wet towel, you know, and knots and throw at them. You know, we never did use BB gun or nothing like that. Those windows, you know, you couldn't. Usually you get them cornered, you know.
And try to get them alive and send it out, or you didn't care at that point?
Well, usually, you know, if you stun one, you take them outside and set them loose.
And hopefully they learn their lesson. Yeah. I think health department, but they would got more picky as the years went by, I guess.
Yes, yes.
More regulations to follow.
Well, yeah, you know, there's always a regulation with governments involved, especially today.
Oh, between the health and then OSHA for the, make sure you've got equipment functioning and all that right, I guess, for employees.
Yeah, they wouldn't let us have that that incinerator at all now. Environment smoke and all that.
Well, was there a lot of cigarette smoking?
Oh yeah, you know, nothing was smoke free back then.
And no little in-house fires?
No. Well, we've had a couple of fires where the grill was in the roller room area, restroom area. The flue that went up there, you know, it'd get grease in it and everything, and it would catch on fire. I remember catching on fire probably twice, you know, and burn everything out, you know, then it's good to go again.
It wasn't closed for something like that?
No.
Well, it was renovated recently. Like
Yes.
it just reopened, what, 2 years ago or something?
Yes.
And it was done before that? Did Howard Johnson's do anything
Yeah,
different to
Howard
it?
Johnson had remodeled the whole inside.
Did Howard Johnson still have the broiler room and the cafeteria?
no.
line? No.
They just said, no.
So that would have ended when they took over.
Yes, they took all that out.
And even the snack bar and the,
Well, the little snack bar that we hosted closed that snack bar down because we'd redone the cafeteria as took out the cafeteria and redone it as, you know, snack bar area plus, that type of thing.
so when they did that, they had two choices, either the broiler room or a faster service.
Yes.
Faster service, okay. And the escalators were still there at that time?
Oh, yes.
I haven't been in since they remodeled. I don't know if they kept all that or not.
I haven't either.
I haven't either, okay. That was my next question. Did you go to the grand opening when they did it 2 years ago?
The representative, Chuck Hoskins had forgot to send my invitation out. And he called me that morning and said, "You're welcome to come, you know." And I said, "Chuck?" He said, "Well, you're supposed to got an invitation." I said, "I didn't get anything." And, you had to have an invitation to get in for the grand opening of this other, But no, I didn't go.
And you haven't been back to check it out
No, I haven't.
to see it changed. I noticed when we were driving under, coming this morning, you could see a statue of Will Rogers, I guess, right in the middle of it,
Upstairs?
upstairs.
Okay, see, that used to sit downstairs, outside. I remember when they put that in. And so they moved that upstairs.
You can see it. It's almost in the middle of the building where you can see it.
Well, it used to
Go
sit on
both
the
ways.
west side of the building, downstairs.
Okay.
Outside.
Well, we're going to stop on our way back today and
Okay.
check it out.
It's good.
I'm sure we won't see any mile-high lemon pie, though.
No, I guess they got some old pictures and stuff out there,
Okay, we'll have to look.
that they've got displayed, because that's where Levon got some of those copies, those pictures, she
Okay.
said.
We'll look. And she brought in her uniform, one of
Oh,
her
she found
uniforms. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yellow,
Oh, yeah. Did she have the white things on it?
golden yellow. I mean,
Yeah.
who chose those colors, I wonder?
That was company-wide.
Was it, okay.
Yes.
Wasn't Annabelle?
No, that's, the standard uniform, when they done the uniforms, that was company-wide, so didn't matter what restaurant you were in, that was the waitress uniform. If they went to something else, then they all changed at the same time.
That's kind of their motif.
Yeah, those were furnished to all the girls and everything, Only thing you gotta do is keep those white things starched.
And they said they had to wear nursing shoes. They had to wear white shoes.
You had to wear white shoes, No high heels, no open-toed shoes or anything like that. We walk around all the time, you better have some
Comfortable, yes.
comfortable shoes.
The only thing they complained about was having to wear a girdle.
And hose. Well, back then they liked wearing hose.
Yeah. I imagine it would get hot though. I mean, with nylons and the dress
Yeah.
seemed like it wasn't all cotton, so it would
Yeah.
get hot too.
It's a blend of something.
And they'd make pretty good tips.
Yes.
Ones in the broiler room anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why they liked working that dining room.
Mm-hmm. And they even said Annabelle would chime in or chip in and help if they got really busy.
Oh, yeah, everyone kind of chipped in.
Would you have to help serve?
I didn't really help serve that much, but I'd go out and help clean the tables. Or, when it got busy, everyone
Bust
chimed in.
the
and,
tables?
Yeah, because we had a bus boy in, but when you got all those people, you want to get as many in as you can, as fast as you can. As soon as they one family leaves, you want to have that table ready to go for the, you know,
Yeah.
because they'd be waiting in line, you know, quite a bit. Not, no.
And they could see that an empty table is sitting
Oh,
there.
yeah. You know,
Most of the customers were patient and good.
oh, yeah, real good.
Was there a mix of like African Americans or Native Americans, or could you tell, or was it mostly?
That restaurant was probably the first one in northeast Oklahoma that served black and whites together.
Really?
The
And
rest of them were segregated.
that would have been in the
60s.
50s, 60s,
Yeah.
60s? Okay. Ever have any problems there?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
You know, and it's mostly from, well, I don't sit with those, you know, and that was usually from some young woman's daughter. I don't want to sit in here with them, you know. You know, and Annabell's response, you can leave. You know, I mean,
That's the way it is.
yes.
Yes.
I mean, that's the first restaurant in town that, you know, where they can eat together in the same room.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which is good.
And she stood firm then.
Yes. You know,
There's the door. It's your choice.
yeah. We had one lady that had a limousine driver,
Wow.
and she was a white lady, and he was a black man. They were nice people, and they would drive up every Sunday to eat lunch, and he would always sit down at a table by himself, and she'd sit over here by herself at a different table, you know, which was okay. And, you know, and when it's time to go, you know, the waitress would always give the chauffeur's ticket to her, and he would go, you know, he'd go on down and get the car started, and she would pay for the tickets, and they would leave, you know. And you never saw them talking to each other, but I'm sure they did in the car, you know, but that's the way it was. He'd drive her up, and they'd both have lunch, and but they'd drive back to Tulsa, just out driving, you know, which was, you know, that's nice.
Mm-hmm. A regular customer.
Oh, yeah, regular customers. They've done that for years.
So other people from Tulsa would just come up for,
Oh, yeah, just come up for
it wasn't
lunch.
all travelers,
Oh, yeah, no.
travelers, and it was some semi-locals.
And we had a lot of local folks eat out there then, you know. Of course, we served a Sunday special after church, where,
I would think that would be popular then.
yeah.
What would the special be? Anything different than normal week?
Oh, yeah, you know, one week when they served us spaghetti or something like that, or chicken fried steaks, or it just depends what beef tips and noodles, things like that. You know, we try to have it different every week so, you know, you don't eat the same thing after church every week.
Mm-hmm. Well, did you eat there yourself?
Yes,
For meals?
Yeah, most time we furnished meals, you know, so. You know, when I first started, you could eat, I think we got 2 meals a day, and they held a quarter out of your check for your meals, which was,
Well, if that got them a piece of pie, it's worth the 25 cents.
well, yeah, well, I mean, you could eat, you couldn't eat the steaks and everything, but, you know, you could eat a nice meal.
Yeah. And sweet rolls.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a lot of sweet rolls.
Well, the drinks of choice was iced tea or Coke.
You got Coke, iced tea, coffee, and I don't know, whatever Coke server, there's 3 or 4 different drinks on the fountain, you know.
And the service stations were full service, I understand.
Oh, yes, those guys will try to sell you fan belts, oil change, everything in the world, I think Wayne Bowie talked about that yesterday, didn't he? He was out here.
He talked to Juliana,
Okay.
so I'm not
He
sure.
probably did, yeah, they were full service.
And did you have anything to do with that part of the business?
No, that was run by Continental Oil Company.
Okay, so those two separate, it was Host International doing the food,
Yeah.
and then Continental doing the...
Continental Oil built a building
Okay,
originally,
okay.
and I think after 25 years, the state got it after 25 years. It reverted to the state where they owned the property after 25 years.
So then, in those first 25 years, Host would have paid them a lease the
Yes.
building?
Yes, we was paying rent to
Continental.
Continental Oil, and it was based on, there's a fixed percentage, and I better not say what it was, but after so many, like after $250,000, it went up some more, and after $500,000, it went up, the rent.
Kind of a sliding scale fee, huh?
Yes.
Just up.
Yeah.
Well, it must have been doing pretty good business for it to keep going up.
Well, I mean, every time, like, it take you, after $250,000, that's in a year. When you got to that point, then after that, the rent went up, I'm talking about for the whole year.
Well, y'all were doing a lot of business, though.
Oh, yeah, selling stuff for, like pie for 45 cents,
Well, I mean, they were making a profit too.
Oh, yes.
I'm sure.
Yeah, we was making profit.
For them.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And then after 25 years, that source of income would be coming to the Turnpike
Yes, then we
Authority
was
then.
paying rent to the Turnpike.
Okay. And did the amounts stay similar?
I think with the Turnpike was just on a flat monthly percentage.
Okay. Well, and they became better off once those 25 years were passed, it's more money coming into their coffers,
The Turnpike.
the Turnpike.
Well, I'm sure that Continental was paying the Turnpike something also, on our part.
Oh, okay, yeah, that would make sense
They'd
too.
be paying rent and everything also. Which I don't know how much, what their contract was, just what ours was.
Well, in the summertime months when they were so busy with tourists and stuff, your gross would have been quite a bit, I would imagine.
Oh, it tripled
Tripling those.
or better.
And you better be prepared to have the stock in place, huh,
Yeah.
to service all those people.
Well, it was that way every year, after the first 2 years you knew, and it was that way.
Kind of predictable then.
Yes,
at
it
that point.
is real predictable.
And then another bump around the holidays,
Yeah, 4th of July, yeah.
Thanksgiving, Christmas.
Yeah, you got a lot of travelers on Thanksgiving and Christmas,
Would they be open on those
Oh,
holidays?
yes, we all, had to be open.
And you served meals on
Oh, we had,
Christmas Day and
yeah,
Thanksgiving Day?
yeah,
Turkey dressing?
yes.
That wasn't normally on the menu just for that special
Well,
day?
no, we did have turkey dressing on the menu,
Oh, okay.
because so we change those menus every so often, but we did have it on.
Did you have a favorite thing that they cooked that you liked?
Oh, I kind of liked everything.
No, nothing in particular is your favorite?
No, not really. I just like good food,
A lady yesterday mentioned the vegetable soup that they made that was really good.
Well, that was all homemade. That's real good.
Yeah, and then sweet rolls, several people have
Oh,
mentioned,
yeah,
so.
those were good. Those were real good.
So it all started when you were 16,
Yes.
and you went up and said, "Can I have a job?"
Yeah.
And Annabelle took you from there.
Yeah.
She was a really good mentor, it sounds like.
Yeah, she became a long life friend. I was with her when she died and everything, When I retired, stay with her a lot, you know. And they had ladies stay with her at night, you know, because she's in good health, but you know, she was, you know, in her 80, you know, or so. And so when I retired, I didn't do anything. I just kind of went over and
Checked on her?
and I'd take her out to lunch. We'd go to lunch about every day, you know, get her out of the house and everything.
Would you go over to the glass house?
No, we usually drove out of town, you know, take up some time and everything, go to different places and eat and everything.
Well, did she have pets?
Oh, yes, she had dogs and dogs.
Did she?
Yes.
Remember their names?
They're all named Fritzy,
All of them.
all of them.
She had more than one at one time?
Well, a friend of ours had give their red dogs, and her name was Missy. And they say this, but Annabelle backed over her one day and going to work.
That's sad. Yes, that happens, I know, but she got another one.
Oh, I don't know, she probably had 4 or 5. I buried 2 in her backyard for her.
Both named Fritz.
Oh, Fritzy, yeah, they's all named Fritzy.
They make sweet pets.
Oh, they were nice.
Mhm. So she lived here in town?
Yes, in fact, I'm living in the house she lived in,
Okay. And where is she buried?
Fairview Cemetery.
And when did she pass away? What year?
2005,
Oh, 10 years ago,
yeah.
10 or so. Okay. This story seems to be coming more, she's the center. She's at the center of all of this.
Yes, and
Very
probably
much.
everyone mentions her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everyone, yeah. Must have been a nice lady to have in your life.
She's a real nice lady.
Was she from Oklahoma and Vinita?
Yes, her dad and everyone, they had Indian land north of town, allotments.
Okay. So what was her maiden name?
Tyler,
Tyler.
Tyler, yeah.
Okay.
In fact, if you go through the Craig County history book, you can find that Tyler allotments, you know, on the map up there north of town.
Which Indian tribe do you?
Cherokee.
Cherokee. Okay. She had some Cherokee blood in
You
her.
know, she had a role, she had an Indian card.
Was on the Dole's Road? Okay.
Yes, some of the relatives were. Yes, her grandma was.
Well, I've seen postcards of the glass house in the background with an Indian person, a person dressed in Native American dress. Would that have been her idea, or?
Yeah, you know, that was kind of for publicity, you know. She'd work the dining room and everything.
Okay. I wondered how all that came to be. And people associate Oklahoma with the Native Americans too, so they would probably ask at the gift shop or something about it.
Then Chronicle, the same year we had her, they had a fellow dressed up which was Indian, had his headdress on and everything, you know, downstairs, you know.
Just for pictures?
Yeah, picture taking, you know, talking to customers and everything.
More than one day, or just for an hour or two?
No, Donna would wear that waitress. She'd wear that costume about 8 hours upstairs. Can't remember how long Speedy done that, whether it's one day a week or something, you know, but I remember him doing that.
So more than just once?
Yes, oh yeah.
Okay.
I think Donna done that all summer that one year with her Indian outfit on.
Had some interesting things going on there. I know some guy yesterday mentioned a Tucker car going by, and he was excited about that. There's not very many of them.
No, I guess not. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look
I
it up.
don't know either.
I'll have to look it up. It's been a fascinating story, and it's a neat building when you drive by it. It's still today.
Yeah, it is. It's a nice building.
I would love to have been to it when it was a boiler room and sit down for a piece of pie.
Oh, yeah. Been nice.
And listen to the
Enjoyed it.
conversations going around back in those days.
Yeah.
I mean, in the 60s, Vietnam was going on. Did you, anything in particular from that time period come to mind?
Well, we had a lot of soldiers coming from Fort Leonard Wood through on buses, you know, after they'd done basic training, and they'd stop there, and we'd feed them and everything. Of course, they always called, and we knew when they was coming, so we was prepared, you know, they'd all go through the cafeteria line or something like that, or the snack bar line, and they always they'd pre-order like, you know, maybe 2 hamburgers and fries, and that's whatever soldier got, you know. So you could zip them right on through, you know.
Yeah.
You know, the top drill sergeant would, you know, tell us what they were eating and how many was coming, so, you know, you could.
Be prepared.
Yeah.
Would they have to pay individually, or
Oh,
they just?
no, they had we took government vouchers, you know.
Okay.
You told them how much ahead of time, and like this would be $5 a person, you know, or something, you know, whatever it was, you know. And whoever's in charge of the group would sign the voucher, you know, after you filled it out. You know, if you had 200 people, then, you know, you'd write down whatever you charged them. Then you send that voucher into the government to get your money.
And that could take a little while.
Not back then, they paid pretty quick.
Okay. Well, I mean, that got the boys through
Oh, yes. That
really
way.
quick, too.
Yeah, if everyone individually ordered, they'd be here all night, you know.
Yeah.
And they didn't want them there, you know, you'd feed two or 300 in less about an hour, you know, an hour.
It's a system. Everything's, if it works good, you're
Oh,
doing
yeah.
it. And hopefully most days were
Yeah.
smooth.
Well, those drills hard to stay on, you know, get through there. And some of the boys that worked for us would be in some of those groups that come through, you know. In fact, one of them got out of you know, he's in line, he got out line coming out to serve the rest of the soldiers one time, you know, because we wanted to talk to him anyway, you know.
Made some good friends.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say you mentored a few young men too,
Yeah.
and women, but mostly men, I would assume.
Yeah, both, you know.
Both. All right, we've covered a lot. Is there anything else you think we need to, anything about the glass house that we need to know that someone might not, the average person might not know? Make sure they know?
Well, not really. I think that pretty well covers it. Well, there's only one story. Well, there's, one story left. Annabelle found it. We had planters out there with flowers, and, you know, and everything. A lot of plants. She found a baggie up there in one of them. And said, "What's this? What's this?" And it was marijuana. She's kind of naive about that. And we don't know whether it's employees or a customer put it there or something, you know, she took it threw it away. You know, just stuff like that, you know, who knows who put it there.
I'm sure there were some untypical days, but most
Yeah.
of them were.
Yeah, most of them were good.
Well, I thank you so much for coming in and talking with us.
Well, I
It's been
appreciate
great.
it. Thank
It's
you.
been fun.